This is practice problem 5.2. In many sports, including hockey, children born in the early months of the calendar year get noticed by their coaches because of the superiority they demonstrate due to their age advantage. As a result, boys born early in the year are more likely to reach the professional ranks of the NHL. The phenomenon just described has been labeled the relative age effect. The chart below shows the birth month for all Canadian players born after 1951, appearing in at least one NHL regular season game through the 2008-2009 season. So this quote and chart come from an article in the Journal of Quantitative Analysis in Sports. So for part A, we want to create a histogram for this data set. And we're going to scale the vertical axis so that it starts at 140 and goes up to 300. So I've drawn my axes here for my histogram. My vertical axis is going from 140 to 300, and I've broken it up into intervals of 20. And this axis represents the number of players. And across the bottom, I've got it divided up equally by month. And this is the birth month of the players. So let's go ahead and fill this in. We're going to start with January. I've got 288 players. That's about here on my axis. February, I've got 292, so just a tiny bit higher number. March is 268. So that's about here. April, I've got 296. That's the highest month, and that goes up to about here. For May, I've got 273. So just a little bit more than March, about there. For June, it starts to drop off, and I've got 240 players born in June. For July, I've got 190, which is right there. For August, I've got a few more, 196. September has 206. It's gone up a little bit more now. October is back down to 189. November is 176. And finally for December, I've got the lowest number, 151, which is about halfway there up to the first mark. So that fills in my histogram, and now here it is a little bit nicer with the computer drawing it so you can see it better. So let's move on to part B. Is this histogram symmetric, skewed, or irregular? If it is skewed, is it right skewed or left skewed? And does this support the claim that boys born early in the year are more likely to reach the professional ranks of the NHL? Well, let's look at the shape of the histogram here. We start out pretty high on the left and then go down to the right, kind of like this. So that does look like it is right skewed, since it tails off to the right, and that does support the claim because I have got higher numbers of players born in the early months of the year, and then it trails off in the later months of the year. Alright, what is the variability of the distribution, and what is the center of the distribution? Well, the variability is going to be the range from my low value, which is in December, of 151 players born in December, to my high value of players born in April with 296. So that's my variability. What about the center? Well, I've got, if I add it up, there are 2,765 players total. So the center month will contain the middle player, which is the 1383rd player. So, well, let's just look at this and see if we can visually guess where the center is. So since most of the players are born in the first half, it's going to be more towards the left and not in the middle. So I would guess somewhere around April or May is probably the center. And if I add that up, there are 1,144 players born through April, and there are 1,417 players born through the month of May. So my center is going to be May. All right.